Morning peeps, good morning everyone, how are we all doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing very, very well. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget as well to like and share the vids. Also don't forget, give me a follow on Instagram if you have it. Ade Oladipo is the Instagram handle. All right, we haven't done a video in a few days, so there should be plenty to talk about. Let's start with where I was yesterday. I was at the KSI press conference, which was a bit wild. TikTokers, YouTubers, Instagram influencers everywhere. And I didn't know any of them. But KSI is a big deal. I'm probably stating the obvious here, but he's a bigger deal than I thought he was. He was streaming the press conference, and I thought, let me have a quick look how many people are watching it. DAZN were obviously streaming it as well. DAZN are covering the event. I think DAZN has sort of 9,000 sort of concurrent viewers watching it. So 9,000 people watching it. KSI had like 80,000. And I just looked at his viewing figures now, so we're not even 24 hours past when it was. 2.7 million people have watched the press conference on his YouTube channel. And bear in mind as well, I'm trying to think how many people must have watched it, because all of those people on that platform, so all of the fighters were there, and they've all got their own big social media followings, like millions of people. And I'm trying to think, there must have been about 10 million people watching that, because they've all got their own platforms. Like DAZN were, as I was sort of doing the press conference, DAZN were sort of chucking people in for me to talk to, and I had no idea who they were. I was like, who is that? And they said who it was, and I was like, bloody hell, looked at his page, 2.7 million followers. It's ridiculous, honestly. Which leads me to my main point after that waffle. If KSI versus Jake Paul is ever made, I mean, that's what KSI wants. He wants to fight Jake Paul. If that fight's ever made, now, you can shoot me down if you want. There aren't 5 fights in boxing that can be made today that are bigger. In fact, I might go less than that, financially. So I'm not, and nothing else matters here. I'm just talking financial, money on the table. Obviously, if the Saudis get involved in a big fight, then obviously that blows it up. But any AJ fight will financially be a bit bigger. Obviously, Fury Usyk will be bigger. GGG Canelo should be bigger. Crawford Spence? Don't know. I'm being serious here, by the way. The amount of money that will be generated by this fight, it'll be crazy. It'll be crazy. I saw the guest list as well of people that are attending. And it's weird because DAZN have it as VIPs, VVIPs, and then VVVIPs. So the guest list is incredible. People are asking me for tickets that I didn't even know were interested in this shit. A lot of people want to go. I'm hosting the event tomorrow with True Geordie. I think Big Zoo's with us. I think Kano might jump on stage with us. It's going to be crazy. I don't know what to expect. Pray for me, because this is going to be a crazy one. This isn't your usual go down a camera and smile. I think this is just going to be chaotic. But I'm happy that I've been chosen to do it. All right, let's start with this one. Frank Warren. Joshua did better, but was in with a better fighter with better skills. Yeah, I mean, that's very, very true. I mean, the fallout still continues, doesn't it, from this fight, which was, 6 days ago now, and people are still talking about it. I guess they've stopped talking about the fight. They're still talking about the aftermath. I mean, I've done numerous interviews with sort of Turkish TV, other TV stations around the world, trying to explain what happened after. And it's difficult to explain. I mean, when I did the video on Monday, I did say it was a moment of madness. And it's weird, every time I watch it, there's almost something I didn't see first time around. I'm like, oh my God, he did that as well. So it is still being unpacked. Ultimately, we'll move on. That's what we do, right? Another story comes up and we'll focus on that one. And I think that's what Anthony Joshua should remember, that people do move on. Like, people will forget. It's not like he bloody killed someone. I mean, some of the responses online, look, again, I'm saying what he did was wrong, but Jesus Christ, man, people need to calm down. Like, calm down. Like, honestly, you would think that he's gone out there with an axe and chopped someone's head off with some of the responses. He got on the mic and said a few silly things. Fucking hell. But look, now I guess for AJ and his team, which includes obviously Freddie Cunningham and his promoter Eddie Hearn and DAZN, right? Because he is now signed with DAZN. It's going to be a case of what next for AJ. There are two things you can do, right? I mean, you can do what other fighters have done, you know, when you feel like you do need to, which is take a long rest. You can do that. Or you can get straight back on the horse. And neither are wrong. Neither are wrong. My preference would be for him to take a break, and that almost contradicts what I've been saying about AJ for the last couple of years, that he doesn't fight enough, he needs to be more active. So I could be wrong here, but I feel like he needs to just chill out. You know, press the pause button for a while. Nothing wrong with that. Like, trust me, I'm pressing the pause button on what I do in a couple of days. I'm literally going to go incognito mode and just go away for 12 days just to clear my head a bit. He can press the pause button. Like, everyone, sorry, I'm going away. You can't reach me. Like, no one can reach me. I'm disappearing for a few months. Could do that. Wilder did it. When Wilder did it, everyone was like, where's Wilder? And then it's a case of, oh, we miss Wilder. We want Wilder back. Do you remember that? Like, first of all, it was like, oh, Wilder, whatever. And then when we didn't hear from Wilder, it was like, okay, where is he? And there's like, oh, okay, I miss him. Can he come back? And when Wilder announced he's come back, everyone was like, yay. So there's a bit of that where AJ could just vanish for a few months. And then sort of they will decide what's best for him in 2023, or, and I think most people are sort of within this thinking, he comes back straight away. Get on the horse straight away. You know, you brush yourself down. It was a defeat to, I think, the pound for pound number one. No shame in the performance. No shame in the performance. You just got beat on the night by a better guy. It happens. It happens, right? And then you fight in December. O2 Arena. You're back home. You're in London. You're not trying to do stadiums. You're just doing an arena. And I think that probably will be what they do. In terms of an opponent, I mean, there's several names out there. There are so many. Look, I don't want this guy to get the fight because of what he's done to the sport in the last 18 months, but people are talking about Jarrell Miller. There's something there that's an easy sell. Jarrell Miller is the easiest sell in the world. I don't think they'll be able to get permission to show the gloves are off or face off, but that's there. I mean, you can easily sell Jarrell Miller. It's not a problem. Then there's the Dillian White fight. You can easily do that again. And there was a lot of talk about Dillian White versus Daniel Dubois. That talk seems to have cooled a little bit. Dillian White would love to fight AJ, right? Dillian White wants to be in the big fights at this stage of his career to make a lot of money. And I think AJ will think that he could knock out Dillian White. I think AJ would knock out Dillian White. So there's that one. I don't know if there's a long enough time to wait for, if there's enough time, to wait for the winner of Ruiz Ortiz. There's that one. Do you know what I mean? There's so many. And then if we're getting like crazy, serious, there's Wilder. The problem with a Wilder fight is that it's almost too big for what Anthony Joshua needs to do next, if I'm being serious. And I'm not just trying to say that from like too big a challenge. I'm talking too big. Everything's too big. Wilder fight is enormous. Wilder versus AJ could do bigger numbers, and I would expect it to do bigger numbers than Fury versus Usyk undisputed. That's how big it is. Like, Wilder AJ is ridiculous. And I almost feel like that's a fight that should be, I've always said it in Nigeria, chaos in Lagos. That's my phrase, chaos in Lagos. Fantastic. Obviously AJ's Nigerian, Wilder Nigerian as well. Do it. For those of you that say Wilder's not Nigerian, he did like one of those tests that you do. I don't know what they're called. DNA test, I don't know what they're called. And it came out that he's 40% Nigerian. So do it, right? Two Nigerian monsters going at each other. But look, AJ's okay. There are several options. I don't think he's, I'm trying to think, has his status waned? I mean, will people still want to tune in? Yeah, it's AJ. And the funny thing is, in a comeback fight of sorts, I think people will be even more interested. Like, oh, is he done? Can he beat the guys just below? Like, I think most will say he can't beat Usyk and Fury, right? I think we'll all agree on that, right? He can't beat those two. But I think most would have thought that he could beat the guys below them. And now it becomes a question, but can he? I mean, can he beat Joe Joyce? Do you know what I mean? I mean, could he beat Ruiz again? I mean, is he scarred that much now? I don't think he is. I think he's fine. I think it's fine. I think that performance on that night, and it will be a different type of performance against those guys, but that performance on that night told me that there's enough there to beat the guys below. but it also tells me that those fights with the guys below will be very, very exciting. AJ's okay, man. I think, you know what it is nowadays? It's almost like you can't lose as a boxer. Like, again, park the antics after the fight to one side for a second. I'm just talking about boxing here. It's almost like you can't lose. Like, he's a bum, he got found out. Like, I'm like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing, man? That's crazy. And it makes me think, what would these people have said about some of the greats in the 80s and the 90s, or even going back to the 70s? Like, what would they have said to some of those people? Like, what would they have said about Joe Frazier when he got destroyed by Foreman? Oh, he's a bum. You know, it's just mental. Honestly, it's mental. It's crazy. I just find it crazy. But look, it is what it is. Just the way we are nowadays as people. But yeah, AJ will be back 100%. All right, what else is there to talk about? Sergio Mora backs Canelo to win, but doesn't rule out an upset by Golovkin. They call that sitting on the fence. That's what they call that, Sergio. Get your ass off the fence. Look, Canelo will win. Canelo's going to beat Golovkin. I mean, I'm not stupid. I watched the Golovkin-Murata fight, and I mean, if there's anything left in Canelo, then I'm sure he'll get the job done. But to kind of back up what Sergio said here, don't sleep on Golovkin. Like, literally, I almost feel like the hatred between him and Canelo is so strong that Canelo is going to have to literally pin this man to the canvas. Honestly, Golovkin will fucking swing back. Like, literally, he will die trying, which is a horrible term to use in boxing, but he will. He will. Anything else? I haven't seen this fight yesterday. It was on Sky Sports YouTube channel. Florian Marcoux fought in Albania. Beat Miguel Parra by decision. Haven't seen it. I did see the knockdowns, but haven't seen it, so there's no point talking about it. Andrew Ruiz says he's aiming to fight twice before the end of the year. Whatever. And people say this stuff, and like you look at their past history. You're like, dude, you're not even a part-time fighter now. I'm not having this. I will fight twice in 6 months when you've not fought twice in 2 years. Only fair. WBC president says it would only be fair for Lomachenko to face Haney Kambosos winner. I understand what he's saying. Obviously, it was supposed to be Lomachenko versus Kambosos. Obviously, Haney Kambosos has been done again now. Rod Laver Arena in Australia, where they pay the Australian Open. Haney will win unless Kambosos can just... I don't know what Kambosos can do going off the first fight to get that. And then Lomachenko versus Haney, right? That's what we want. That's what we want to see. Let's see. Obviously, Lomachenko looks like he'll be back in October. Lomachenko looked fine, by the way. Looked really good ringside. I was like looking at him thinking, there's the Matrix. I shook his hand. I did, like a fanboy, but hey, it is what it is. Loma, what's up? Hey. That's what he said. All he said was, hey. Tyson Fury, Usyk is a middleweight. I'll put my fist right through him. We will talk about that a bit later. I'm gonna do a separate video on that one because it looks like that fight's gonna happen, right? We'll see. Thurman views showdowns against either Spence or Crawford as tremendous matchups for himself. I've been told from a very reliable source that Spence Crawford is done for December. Was supposed to be done for October, now December. I just wonder if they maybe looked at scheduling conflicts. I'm not quite sure what's going on. Maybe the UFC, maybe another big fight, but they've moved it to December, I've been told by a reliable source. Obviously, nothing's been announced, but I mean, you don't have to be a genius. Just go on Terence Crawford's IG page. This man is training like he's going to fight someone. You know? So yeah, fingers crossed. What we got here? Hearn says Cali Sauerland was key to getting Eubank Benn deal done. I'm with Eubank on Saturday as well, so tomorrow. I have to get my head ready for this. He's with us tomorrow. Cali Sauerland was there yesterday, actually, obviously doing this KSI versus Swarms and Pineda thing. Look, happy that it has been done between these two. I mean, that this is such a big fight. It's weird how when it was announced, obviously massive, and then it's cooled a bit, and it's going to ramp up once I think DAZN sort of get done with GGG Canelo. I always do it that way, by the way. I need to stop. It's Canelo GGG, but I always do GGG Canelo. Once they get done with that, then they'll ramp up Eubank Benn, and I think it's going to do incredible numbers for DAZN. I really do. I mean, for me, if done correctly, it's $500,000. It's $500,000. I still don't know what the pricing point is. Is it £20, $19.99? I'm not quite sure. If you're already a subscriber, do you get a bit of a discount? Hopefully, I'm not sure, but that will be enormous, enormous. Especially, I saw a video clip of Benn sort of doing some shadow boxing, and his dad was right next to him, Nigel, and that just got me I can't think. Like, we've obviously seen a lot of sort of father-sons in boxing. There's been so many over the years. None are like this in terms of just, they're the same. Like, they're literally the same person. Like, Conor Benn is Nigel Benn. Just the personality, way he fights, everything. It's the same person. It's incredible. Honestly, it's incredible. Charles Martin versus Denin Vargas added to Ruiz Ortiz undercard. Who's that? Devin Vargas. Never heard of him. Let's see if my box rec's working so we can find out. Devin Vargas is 22-7 of the 22 wins, 9 knockouts. Okay, okay, him. He fought Zhili Zhang. I remember that. Got knocked out by Zhili Zhang. Got stopped by Junior Farr. Got knocked out by Andrew Ruiz back in 2018, Dominic Brazil. Okay, so he's that guy, right? Every time he steps up, gets knocked out or stopped. Let's see what Charles Martin can do with him. Josh Taylor relinquishes IBF title. Literally, Josh Taylor's only got 1 belt left, and that's the belt he's going to defend against Jack Catchell. It's so weird out there. Just literally, it's almost impossible to stay undisputed. So difficult. Unless you're a Canelo and the sanctioning bodies are desperate for you to hang on to their belt, because obviously they get the percentage of the sanctioning fees, and if you're Canelo, it's going to be ridiculous. The pressure on them, they put on you to defend their belt is just insane. Insane. Same thing with Tyson Fury when he came back from beating Vladimir Klitschko, and the IBF immediately just stripped him. Like, give us that belt. Give us it. It's kind of what's happening with Josh right now. They're all just taking their belts back. Very quickly on this one, because I just think it's nuts. Lee Wood versus Lara got announced a couple of days ago. Bear in mind, it looked like it was all roads leading to Lee Wood versus Leo Santa Cruz in America. That isn't happening right now. It looks like Leo Santa Cruz is going to fight Ray Vargas, which is a fantastic fight. But Lee Wood was like, all right, who's the one that everyone's calling the boogeyman? Him? Give me him, Lara. You know what? I think Lee Wood will win this one, and I think Lee Wood's just going to outbox him. But it reminds me a lot of when Amir Khan got smoked by Bradis Prescott. I don't know how old you guys are, but I'm sure you know about that result. And a couple of years later, Kevin Mitchell fought Bradis Prescott. And obviously Bradis Prescott had this aura about him as this killer. And Kevin Mitchell was outboxed him. And I feel like Lee Wood could do that. And Lee Wood's going to get a lot of plaudits for doing that. So look, you're rolling the dice here, because there would have been a lot more money in a Michael Conlan fight. You're rolling the dice here, or a Josh Warrington fight. But the rewards could be so big if you beat him. They could be so big. But we also know this fucking Lara is a bit of a madman. Can punch, but so can Lee Wood. Fantastic matchup, honestly, a fantastic matchup. Looking forward to it, really am. I think, what else is on that card? Kid Galahad's on that card as well, right? Against Maxie Hughes, IBO. Wait, is Kid Galahad jumping up 2 weight? He's going to go to lightweight. Interesting. See how he fills up into that. And there's another one on that card as well, which just skipped my mind. Terry Harper versus Hannah Rankin. So Terry Harper's going up as well, a couple of weight classes. My only gripe with this is that it's on September 24th, which I believe is the same date, correct me if I'm wrong, as Joe Joyce versus Joseph Parker. That's wrong, isn't it? It's just not good for boxing, that. And I actually feel sorry for the people that have already bought tickets to Joe Joyce versus Joseph Parker, because look, they're just boxing fans, and they probably would have preferred to see Lee Wood. This is just me. I'm not sharing. This isn't a DAZN fucking Queensbury thing. I'm saying a lot of those people might have wanted to go and see Lee Wood versus Lara, but they didn't know, so they probably bought tickets for Joe Joyce versus Joseph Parker. Even me, who, look, I'm guessing I'm working on the Leewood Lara thing, I would have wanted to see Joe Joyce versus Joseph Parker. Would have wanted to see that. So now I can't. It's a shame. I don't know why British boxing does this to itself. Why do that? Why do that? I mean, one thing they probably will do is make the main events walk at different times, but still, it's disappointing. Very, very disappointing. All right, guys, girls, peace and love.